wellness session, y'all. We are going to get right into it. Welcome to our wellness session of the day. We have Rahul Kay, CEO and co-founder of Sukhi. He has a background in organizational culture, cultural sensitivity, and mental health. He's a former McKinsey consultant, UN global health official, and has facilitated group therapy. He's led training for over 10,000 people across 60 plus organizations and has been featured by Harvard, the World Bank, and Amazon. He studied clinical psychology at Tufts Medical and abnormal psychology at Cornell and received an MBA from MIT Sloan. Whenever you're ready, Rahul, take it away.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that introduction. Happy Friday, everyone. For the next 45 minutes, we are going to tap into our inner Zen. We're going to really focus on how can we use our breath, how can we focus on it to deal with our internal stress, right? I want you to put a 1 in the chat right now. Put a number 1 if stress is something that you care about. This is a concern for you. This is something that you've dealt with before. Put a number 1 in it. Let's see what kind of is stress something on people's minds right now? Yeah, right now, people are feeling stressed. What I want you to do is we're going to get some very tangible tools that are going to help us enter into the weekend. These are tools that you can utilize for the rest of your life going forward. And you do not need any faith. You don't need to have any belief that these tools work because it's experiential, right? You're going to experience it right now. And what I want you to do is the tools that do work for you, hold on to those. The ones that don't, forget about them, right? This is all about your personal experience with these tools. I will say everything that we're going to go over today is scientifically backed, right? These are grounded in principles of mindfulness. These are grounded in principles of clinical psychology. And this is not new. This is not a fad. This has been around for thousands of years. All right. And so to get us started, let's start out with just a simple reset, right? And so what I want you to do is first find your seat, right? Find your stress reduction seat. If you're sitting down right now, what I want you to do is to scooch on over to the edge of your seat. Make sure that your feet are uncrossed, right? And so that you can actually take a moment to feel your feet against the floor. Take a moment to feel your legs against your seat, your back against the seat. And I want you to sit up straight, right? You're sitting up straight. If you don't know what to do with your hands, what do I do with my hands? I want you to put them on your knees facing to the floor, okay? And then what we're going to do is we are going to take a huge inhale through our nose, filling up our stomach, right? This is what we want to do, these belly breaths. And then I'm going to want you to exhale through your mouth. And when you inhale, I want you to think about opportunity. I want you to think about hope. I want you to think about newness, what's going to come. And when you exhale, right, I want you to imagine this visceral leaving of stress, of tension, of negativity, all just leaving your body, right? Every single exhale, all of that is going out. All of that's going out. You're breathing in opportunity. You're breathing in, right, this newness, and then you are leaving that baggage out. And then we're going to do 4 deep breaths, just like this. I'm going to walk you through it. And then at the end of it, I'm going to ask you just a couple questions. That's how we're going to start today's sessions. Let's go. Hands on your knees, back up straight to the edge of your seat. Feel free to close your eyes. It can help you to zone in. If you do have headphones, now is a great time to grab those headphones. It helps really take out the outside world so you're just focused on what's going on internally. Straight back, head up straight, eyes closed, breathing in through the nose, out, in, out. In, out. Last one, biggest one yet. In, out. Return your breathing to normal. Just take a moment to pause. How's your body feel right now? Are you restless or are you still? Are you heavy? Are you feeling lighter? Now, we are all very busy people, yet we chose to be right here in this digital community at this moment. My question to you is why? Why did you choose to come to today's session? Ask yourself it, answer it to yourself. And finally, now that you're here right now, how can you make the most of it? With that, one more big inhale, big exhale, judgment, negativity, tension, leaving your body. Breathe in, big out. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. Take a moment to see how you're feeling right now. How are people doing right now? Feel free to comment in the chat room. How you feeling centered? Are you feeling grounded? You feeling better? Love it. Love it. People are feeling all right. Feeling good. Okay, so what we did, feeling lighter. Absolutely. Got some hearts. What we did was a very simple exercise, and this is an important concept for everybody to understand. We all have the ability to emotionally regulate ourselves, right? And so if you are feeling crappy, if you are feeling stressed out, right? If you're feeling scared, if you're feeling angry, right? What's happening is that your lizard brain, right? It's called your hippocampus, is getting triggered. It puts you into a state of alertness, puts you into that state of fight or flight where you feel that you are threatened. Now, one thing that is important to note is that your brain does not tell the difference, right, between threats to our physical safety versus threats to our ego, right? It is exactly the same. The same stress hormones get released, the same systems get activated, right? That means that if you're driving a car and someone stops short and you have to swerve off to get out of the way, that same system is getting activated than if you get a text from a friend that says something you don't like, or if you get a bad grade on your report card or whatever it is. It's that same system that gets activated. Now, beforehand, we used to think that, well, it's going to be our emotions in our brain that's going to affect how we're breathing, right? If we are scared, if we're upset, if we're angry, we're going to really respirate really quickly. And what that's doing is it's allowing oxygen into our muscles so that we can get ready for that fight, or we're going to get ready to run away. But what we know now through neural scans is something that Eastern cultures have known for thousands of years, and that it's a two-way street. That means your breath patterns, right? There's a group of cells right where your spine hits your brain, and it's looking constantly, how are you breathing? What signals should I send back to your brain? And so essentially what we can do is we can trick our brain into thinking that we are safe, that we are calm, that we are relaxed, that we should start to fall back asleep, right? Even when we're feeling frightened, even when we're feeling stressed out. And so that first exercise that we just all did together, that was breathing in through your nose for a count of 4 and exhaling through your mouth for a count of 4. Your brain is picking up, those cells are picking up on that exhale, that long, deep exhale, it's telling your brain to initiate a rest and digest system, right? And so what that does is it makes you feel calmer. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is this next exercise is my favorite breathing technique that I ever learned. Okay. And this is one for anybody who's ever had trouble falling asleep, who's ever had those nights where you are stressed out, or you can't stop thinking about school, you can't stop thinking about class, a breakup, whatever it is, right? You can't fall asleep because your brain is churning, right? And so this next breathing technique, what it's going to do, it's going to initiate a sleep process into your mind, regardless of what you're thinking. It's going to make you feel more relaxed. Okay. And so let's start this next technique. I'm going to teach you how to do it. Very simple. And one of the best things is all of these techniques, they take less than a minute to do. Right? That means you have the power to emotionally regulate yourself, to make yourself feel better within a minute, right? As soon as you notice that you're feeling stressed out, as soon as you notice that things are on your mind, let's begin to use some of these techniques to make ourselves feel better. All right. And so here's what we're going to do. I see there's a question in the chat right now. Let me answer that question and then we'll start this one. Why does it also activate when you're excited? When you get a good grade, you're excited about it. I tend to have that same anxiety system in moments like these. Weird, right? So I want you to think about that, right? Excitement and fear, they're just two sides of the same coin, right? It is how you're mentally looking at it. And a lot of times, people who have jobs like mine that require a lot of public speaking, what they do is they treat it the same, right? When you're feeling nervous, when you're feeling scared, you mentally look at it as, well, let me say that's excitement, right? That is me being excited. That is me being eager and hopeful about the same situation, right? And so a lot of these emotions will be, they're not independent of each other. And so when you are feeling excited, right, you're getting some of those same tingles as being scared, right? And all of that is this idea that your emotions, they're causing feelings, right? And feelings are physical manifestations that you feel in your body to those emotional responses, right? So that's why they're called feelings, because you literally can feel them. And so one of the techniques about mindfulness is being an investigator of your own feelings, to know, what does it feel like in my body and in my mind when I'm angry, when I'm excited, when I'm happy, right? Because all of us feel a little bit different. And so I know, like, when I'm angry, my fingers tend to tense up. And so my partner can look at me and be like, you are upset right now, right? She even knows it. And so all of us experience that, right? We experience our feelings differently. And so if you're experiencing excitement and you're starting to breathe faster, well, that is how your body is coping with this emotional response. Still, if you're excited and you want to calm yourself down, you want to do the same exact thing. Utilize that breathing technique. One of the things I don't want to do is label, right, an emotional response good or bad, right? Excitement versus fear, one or something that's good and happy versus something that's bad and negative, right? These are just responses. And then it's up to us to regulate ourselves back to our norm. Okay. Now, going back to this idea of sleep, right? Because it's so important. Sleep is the foundation of our mental health, our emotional health, as well as our physical health. And if you haven't experienced that yet, it means you're sleeping great. But as soon as you have a night where you don't sleep well, you feel it, right? You feel it the next day. We all require sleep, right? And so, what I want you to do now is this breathing technique to help you fall asleep, right? It's called single nostril breathing. Now, the thing that's really important to it is that you have to block up the right nostril. And by right, I mean the actual right nostril, my right. Okay, so use your right hand. And what we're going to do is block that right nostril. And we're going to take deep, long breaths through just the the left nostril. Now, if you do it the opposite way, it's going to excite you, right? That's not what we want to do right now, but that can be helpful if you're feeling drowsy. If you want to perk yourself up, feel motivated, you can do that. But right now, we're all about relaxation. We're all about starting up that rest and digest system. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our right hand. We are going to make a fist. I keep my thumb on the outside. And simply, we're going to put that thumb right under our right nostril, blocking that right nostril. And then we are going to take deep breaths in and out, just our left nostril. We're going to do it about 9 to 10 times. And so again, let's assume our position, edge to the edge of your seat, back straight up. Take that right hand, make that fist right under your right nostril. I want you to close your eyes. Breathe in, out, 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 in, out. Put your right hand down. Resume your breath. Just take a moment to see how your body feels. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. That's the single nostril breathing technique, right? Now, hopefully, you feel relaxed. Hopefully, your body feels heavier, feels so sleepy. This is so effective. Absolutely, right? It actually works. I feel relaxed, like you feel it through your whole body, almost fell asleep. Exactly. And so, this is a very effective technique, right? And it works on a lot of people, right? And so when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling stressed out, right? Block that right nostril, let your body, right, take over. Feel so at peace, feeling sleepy. This is weird. I know, right? You don't need pills, you don't need anything else. It's just your own body regulating itself, right? All right, let's keep going. Hopefully, I didn't put everyone to sleep right now. And you still got enough energy to come up with me. All right, the next thing I want to focus on is simply take a sidestep into mindfulness, right? What does it mean to be mindful, right? The term gets used a lot these days, right? It's almost like exploded out of the scene. Everyone wants to be mindful, right? Yeah. And so what does it mean to be mindful? What do people think? Feel free to put it in the chat. If you are being mindful, in the moment, right? What does that mean? Yeah. To be present, love it, Helen. Actually, yeah, being aware, right? It's the objective, right? Understanding of the present moment. It's not being judgmental of what's happening, right? And so you can be mindful doing anything. A lot of times people they assume it's only about breathing, right? And but you can be mindfully drinking water, right? Suddenly, instead of acting on muscle memory, you are noticing the weight of the water. You are noticing the feeling of it going down your throat. Right? You're noticing the taste. You're noticing how it makes your mouth feel. You are incredibly focused on just drinking that water, right? Being mindful, it means going from multitasking, which we are amazing multitaskers. That's what we do. We are constantly doing all these different activities, switching back and forth to single tasking, right? Only doing one thing. It's incredibly difficult to do, right? It's really hard to do that. And so but why it's so important is because it builds a muscle, just like any other muscle in your body, right? Consider it every single time that you're conducting mindfulness, this act. What you're doing is you're building out that muscle, and it's allowing you to focus better. It's allowing you to be more present, right? To not focus about the future. When you're thinking about the future and when you're worried about the future, that can lead to anxiety, right? That can lead to anxious thoughts. Now, when you're thinking about the past, right, you're dwelling, well, what did I say? What did that person do to me, right? What happened to me? That can lead to depressive thoughts. And so suddenly we're in this yo yo between anxiety and depression, right? Anxiety about the future, depression about the past. What mindfulness can do is ground us in the present moment, right? Where the only thing that matters is right now. The only person that matters is the person right in front of you. It keeps you incredibly aware of what's going on right now, which can be beneficial to your mental health, right? That's why we do it. It is mental fitness training. And so, what I want to do is teach you some basics about mindfulness, right? And so, one of the first things I want you to do is really take a moment to look at this picture right now, right? What it is a metaphor for what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is operating under muscle memory, where you're just going throughout your day doing the activities that you normally do without really thinking about it. In fact, there was a study done by Harvard Medical School that said about 47% of the time that we do something, we're thinking about something else completely, right? It's those moments where we're having a conversation with somebody, but we're really thinking about, well, what should I have for dinner? When we're driving our car, but we're actually thinking about what happened at school that day, right? Your mind is elsewhere. And so, what mindfulness does is it brings it right back, right? It brings it to that present moment. And so, I want you to think of your mind as this monkey, right? A lot of times meditators, which is the act of mindfulness, right? It's a type of mindfulness. They will say that we have a monkey mind, right? A monkey mind that is just hopping from one branch to the next, one branch to the next, which is one thought to the next thought. Every single day, we have about 60 to 80,000 thoughts, right? 60 to 80,000 thoughts. And we don't have the ability to determine what our next thought is going to be, right? It just happens to us. If I say, don't think about pink elephants, bam, I just implanted that in your brain. You're thinking about a pink elephant right now, right? So you don't have the ability to manage your thoughts. You have that 60 to 80,000 thoughts every single day. Your monkey is going crazy, right? It's going from branch to branch to branch to branch. And so, what mindfulness does is it calms it down, right? It focuses it. And so, every single time you practice mindfulness, you're taking this monkey, you're putting it on this stool. Now, what's going to happen to that monkey the first time you put it on the stool? Well, it is going to jump off immediately, right? It's going to jump right off. You're immediately going to start thinking about something else. But consider that a rep in this mental gym, right? Every single time you bring it back to that stool, maybe after 5 times, maybe after 10, maybe after 100 times, you suddenly put that monkey on that stool, it's going to stay there for maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, right? Before that monkey hops off the stool. And if it hops off, that's completely okay. That is how our brain works, right? That's how it's made to work. But what you can do is simply just notice, oh, that monkey's off the stool. Let me pick it back up, put it right back on that stool. And so that's what mindfulness is, right? It is selectively focusing on one thing. And so if you don't know even where to start about how do I even know what to start, right? About mindfulness, what I want you to do is to do this exercise right now with us, right? And this is going to ground you in the present moment, because what it's going to do is it's going to make you focus on every single sense and only that sense, right? And so it's going to take out whatever you're doing, whatever's going on outside of your life is not going to be as important in this very moment, okay? And so to start, simply assume the position, go back to sitting up straight, right? Let's take a couple deep breaths, again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we're just going to focus on our senses. I'm going to walk us through this, all right? So breathing in, out. In, out. Now I want you to focus on your sense of smell. What are you smelling in this moment? Moving on to our sight, I want you to look around the room, notice details you didn't notice before. A smudge on your screen, dust, a crack, a hue of a light. Use your eyes. Really pay attention. Moving on to our ears. Spend a moment listening for sounds outside the sound of my voice. Maybe you hear the AC. Maybe you hear a car down the road. Just listen. Moving on to our sense of touch. Take a moment to notice what it feels like to wear your shirt, to have that fabric touching you, to have your pants touching your legs or your shorts or your dress. To feel that chair supporting you, to feel the ground supporting you. And then moving on to your sense of taste. Hopefully we all brushed our teeth today. What's our mouth taste like right now? Mine still kind of tastes like coffee. But taking a moment right now, right? We just went through all 5 of our senses, and hopefully during that time, you weren't thinking about other things, right? You weren't thinking about what you had to do after this workshop. You weren't thinking about, did your PDF attach to the last email you sent or whatnot, right? You were grounded in this present moment. That right there is a rep of mindfulness, right? What we just practiced right there was being in the present moment. And so whether it's breathing, whether it's focusing on walking or drinking or listening to a song, these are all forms of mindfulness, right? And so here's a tool that you can utilize, which is really that senses check-in. And what I'll do is I'll give you a little bit more, right, about mindfulness here as a background. And then we're going to end with one more breathing technique, right? And we're actually going to do a little bit more of an extended meditation where I'm going to guide you through one other exercise that's going to help you to feel connected more to other people, to feel like you're part of a community. And so what mindfulness is, it's that moment to moment awareness of the present, right? A lot of times people use it as a tool to help with anxiety, depression, but it's not a panacea, right? It's not a cure. It is one of many different tools. Now, one thing that I want to emphasize is that it can be done anywhere, and it does not need to be for an extended period of time. You don't need to have an app open on your phone. You don't need to be sitting cross-legged on top of a waterfall in the middle of the rainforest with the wind blowing through your hair. Even though that's great if you can get those conditions, when I'm practicing mindfulness, it's usually when I'm waiting for an Uber, right? When my computer screen is booting up, right? It's these little moments every day where I remind myself, let me be present. Or when I notice that I'm finding my mind drifting to a worrisome thought, let me bring it back, right, to reality. And so what it's not, right, is it's not about clearing your mind or emptying your mind. A lot of times people say that, oh, you got to try mindfulness out. You're going to clear your mind. Remember, we have monkey minds that have 60 to 80,000 thoughts every single day. There is no way to clear that out. What mindfulness is about your reaction to those thoughts, right? Can you notice that monkey jumped off the stool and then put it right back, right? That's what mindfulness is about, the ability to do that, not to suddenly clear your mind and all you're thinking about is just nothing, because that's not possible, right? And one thing to keep in mind as well is that this is a technique. Everything we've done today is a scientifically backed technique, right? This is not religious in nature. And so although you might hear of it being associated with Buddhism or other Eastern philosophies, it is just a tool, just like singing or any other tool that someone could utilize. And lastly, it's not easy, right? This is a muscle that really takes practice, right? You might be, every single time you start to try to meditate or try to be mindful, your brain immediately starts thinking about other things. You feel that knee-jerk reaction, and that's completely all right, okay? That it just means that you need even more practice, right? You need this in your life, because what it can do is it can help you focus. All right. And so in our last 10 minutes, what I want to do is focus on the final technique. All right. And this technique is called box breathing. Right now, this is a technique that is utilized by a wide variety of people. Everyone from Navy SEALs that are in the heat of combat and they suddenly need to make clear-headed, logical decisions while they're under extreme pressure, they're utilizing this technique, all the way to Buddhist monks who are living in ashrams up in the mountains, and they're trying to get into a deep meditative state, right? They're using the same technique because it works, right? And what we are doing with box breathing technique is we're going to be inhaling for a count of 4 through our nose, and then we pause for a count of 4, and then we exhale for a count of 4 through our mouth, and then we pause again. So it's in, pause, out, pause. You keep doing it over and over again. It's creating a rhythm that's activating that parasympathetic nervous system response that gives you that sense of zen, right? That we're seeing right now in the GIFs, right? And that's what it's going to do, right? In, pause, out, pause, over and over again. We're focusing on the counting. If it helps you, even visualize the numbers in your mind. What I do is I think of a big chalkboard. I think of the numbers just appearing 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Pause, 2, 3, 4, just on that chalkboard. Visualize it, focus on that. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to keep utilizing this technique to get us into a deep meditative state. What happens to our brain is our brain waves actually go into a theta state, right? Our theta state is a very calm and relaxed state that happens right before we go to bed. It is the state that we are the most creative in, right? So if you're a creative person and you want to think about, hey, I want to write this song, I want to write this poem, I want to write this line of code, whatever it is, and you're feeling stuck, this is a great place to be in. In fact, some of the best thinkers in history, right? Thomas Edison, he would utilize this. He would rock himself back and forth in a chair with a metal ball in his hand, and then he would have a metal plate underneath that ball. As soon as he would start to fall asleep, right? As soon as he was entering that theta state, that ball would drop, it would wake him up. That's when he would do his best thinking. That's when he would create his inventions, right? And so that's exactly what we're doing. We're putting ourselves in that state. And then from there, we're going to reflect, okay? With that said, for the last time today, I want you to edge, right, to the edge of your seat. Uncross your feet, make sure that they are touching the floor. Back is up straight. Hands are on our knees facing the ground like curtains over a window. I want you to close your eyes. Let's take a couple deep breaths before we start box breathing. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. In, out. Starting now. In, 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Out through the mouth. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. In. Pause. Out. Pause. In. Pause. Out. Pause. In. Pause. Out. Pause. On your own. Keep it going. When you inhale, imagine a wave forming. When you pause, imagine that wave moving through the ocean. And when you exhale, imagine that wave gently touching the shore. In. Pause. Out. Pause. In. Pause. Out. Pause. Allow your breath to return to normal. In this moment, how are you defining yourself? Now I want you to imagine your version of utopia, your perfect world. What are people doing? Who's there? How are they treating each other? Now I want you to think of one thing you can do in the next week that can just be a step towards that dream. Help make that dream come to fruition. What's one thing you can do? I want you to take a moment to thank yourselves for investing in your own mental health, for being here right now. And with that, let's do 3 last deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you exhale, negativity, judgment, leaving your body. And when you inhale, that's inspiration, that's hope, that's opportunity. Breathe in, out, in, out. Last one, biggest one you're taking all day. In, out. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. Thank you, everybody, for such a good, hopefully impactful session. It's always a pleasure to work with Color Stack. Appreciate being here. Thanks, everybody.
Wow. Thank you so much, Rahul. Y'all, give Rahul all the love in the chat as well as all these emojis. Thank you so much. I feel so centered. I feel like I'm now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for joining our wellness session. Hopefully we see Rahul sometime in the future. I know we've had Rahul on for our Fam Fridays, which happen monthly. So definitely make sure to connect with Color Stack as well as Sukhi so that you stay in this Zen zone, y'all. Ooh. Woo! Okay. Gosh, how are we feeling after that wellness session, y'all? Ooh, ooh. I just feel so refreshed. Let's see. How do we feel after that wellness session, y'all? Liberated. Liberated. Like we ain't got time. At peace. Amazing. Tranquilo. Okay, I need a nap. After color stack, yes. But very much yes. Juicy. That's funny. Relaxed. Okay, we're feeling relaxed. I feel so good. I feel so yummy. Wow. Woo! Well, we have a few. Let me see. We have 2 minutes. Since we're already feeling relaxed, if you want to just like stretch a little bit, like even like a little that way and a little like, oh, a little this way, and maybe like a little like, oh, ooh, ooh. I know I'm getting old because my back is like a candy wrapper. It's like lots of fun, lots of fun. Um, yes, it's setting us up for our interview later. Best of luck, very much that. Yes. Ooh, y'all. Oh my God, I feel so zen. Y'all, how about we go ahead and start to get into where we're gonna go next, right? We have a few more sessions left for the day. Up next, we're actually gonna go ahead and check in with our HubSpot team. We're going to check in with our HubSpot team, and you know the drill. You're going to meet me at the next stage to hear from our next speaker. So I will see you at the HubSpot stage.